Alright, this video I'm going to go over, in my opinion, the best road bike brands based off my experiences and my preferences. Um, so what have I ridden? I've ridden Cannondales, I've ridden Treks, I've ridden Specialized, I've ridden BMCs. Those are the main ones of which I tried. And my favorite ones, I really like Cannondale a lot, and I do like BMC a lot. The brand names that are out there, I've ridden Giant as well. The brand names that are out there that have a good reputation. Giant has a good reputation, but it's more affordable. And then Trek has a good reputation, and Cannondale, of course, very high quality, and then BMC is very good. Specialized is very good. These are the ones that most people, these are like the higher quality ones. There's other brands out there that I've seen which I never ridden them, but I don't really look at them with much, like I don't really think that they're much quality. Like something like Fuji or Felt or something like that, I wouldn't recommend those. Any brand that you find at Walmart or Target, that's crossed off the list. Those are not considered quality, you know. Just the fact of them being part of that big box retailer type of thing, you don't want to go that route, you know. So even Dick's Sporting Goods, like the really high-end stuff, they don't have at Dick's Sporting Goods. They don't have it at Walmart or Target. All those brands are going to be lumped into categories that you don't want to deal with. As far as like Mongoose, Huffy, Diamondback. I mean, Diamondback is Nishiski. Like Dick's has their brands like Nishiski and like Diamondback. Those are better than the Walmart, Target, but that's not the elite. So the elite, you got the elite retail bike industry, like the independent shops. Those hold the highest quality bikes. And then you got like Dick's Sporting Goods, and then which is like the mid, and then you got the lowest one, which is like the Walmart, Target. So I'm giving my feedback on the elite biking world, not the Dick's Sporting Goods, and not, you know, the Sport Mart, Dick's Sporting Goods, Sports Authority. Those are like the mid, and then the Walmart, Target is like the cheapest stuff that you get. So I'm not. Those are just wiped off the list completely. Those brands you don't want to deal with at all. And then you also got an online type of, you know, brands that people will order. That, you know, those brands I wouldn't really recommend. I mean, I even had a bike Motor Beckon before, you know, but those are not good bikes. So the brands that you want to get, you know, are like the ones that I just specified, like Cannondale, BMC, Specialized, Trek, Giant. Those like the main ones that are like the really top quality. But with all things aside, when it comes to like the high-end stuff, there might be a brand that you never heard of before, but it's more about the quality of the frame, it's about the quality of the wheels, it's about the quality of the components. And if you assess those three main things, then you'll see if that's a really high quality bike or not. So just because it's a brand name doesn't mean that it's everything either, you know. So first you want to test out to see how much the bike weighs. The less that the bike weighs, the more high quality the frame. So carbon fiber frame set, if you could find a bike that weighs, you know, under 20 pounds, under 15 pounds, you want to focus on that. You want to focus on the brand name of the wheels. The two main ones are like Mavic and Zip. But if we go back to the brand names of the bikes, I really like Cannondale. I really like the style, the way it looks. Cannondale was the companies in America, and for a long time they were known to be handmade in America. They did that as long as they could stay competitive. Cannondale is always known to be the brand that charges like one of the most. Like you know they charge a lot more money for that brand, and they're known to be always handmade in America. But then recently, many years ago, they shipped out, they exported their manufacturing to other countries like China. So now the Cannondales are even made out of China. Trek is also an American company, but they've exported their manufacturing process overseas a long time ago. So pretty much all these bikes are not made in America. They're made somewhere else, most likely in China. I believe the BMC, I believe it's made out of Switzerland. You know, I think it says it on the bike. It says Swiss Precision Quality. So I think the BMCs are made out of Switzerland. Alright, so the way it goes is the Cannondale, they don't have that many bikes available, but all the bikes that they have available are typically on the higher end. So when you see a Cannondale, you know it's a higher quality bike. Treks, on the other hand, make low quality bikes and they make high quality bikes. And you really have to know you really have to know bikes in order to see if that Trek is a good Trek or not. They have more to choose from, just a wider variety. You know, Cannondale is more selective towards more luxurious type of riding, more high quality, you know, products that cost a lot more money. Giant, in my opinion and what I know, it's kind of a step below the Trek. It's more affordable. They make good bikes, but it's just, I think Trek is at a higher level above Giant, and I think Cannondale is a higher level above Trek, in my opinion. Specialized makes good bikes as well. I think Specialized is kind of around where Trek is. They're kind of like equal in my eyes. So it's kind of like Giant, and then Trek and Specialized is kind of equal, and then Cannondale is the highest, one of the highest end. BMC is just something where you don't see it often at all. The way that I found out about BMC is I just saw a lot of people in the Tour de France riding them. You cannot find BMC often, you know, but I've seen people in Tour de France riding the brand. I was like, you know what, let me try that brand, you know. I really do like the BMC, but it's just not easy to find, you know. But honestly, the Cannondale, the design of it, the way that they design their bikes, the way that the decals look, the way it says Cannondale, I like the design the most, the Cannondales. It's just that they're really, really expensive. You know, the Trek and the Specialized, they're okay. I mean, I honestly would rather have a Specialized than a Trek, I think, if I had to choose between the two. But it's all about the color scheme, also about the way that the brand looks, like the way Giant looks, the way Trek looks. I don't like the way Trek is just a four-letter brand. BMC is only a 3, but like I said, Cannondale, the style of it, it appeals to me the most. Pretty much out of everything. But those are maybe the top brands that I've just mentioned. But as far as like those other brands like Fuji and Felt, I've heard about those. I wouldn't recommend it. But everybody has their own style. Sometimes, the bikes are not built exactly the same. There's different curvatures to it, the way the frame looks. Like, there's just certain things that, some people just prefer something over another, you know. Um, but yeah, that's my feedback. So far, my two favorite brands are BMC and Cannondale, and that's what I own. I have 2 BMCs. I got 1 Cannondale. I got 2 students that are riding 2 students riding Cannondales. I got another student riding a Trek. One of my students used to have a Specialized. I used to have a Specialized. I sold the Specialized. I used to have a couple Specialized. I had a Specialized Roubaix Elite, I think it was. I didn't like it at all. It was Shimano 105. It was carbon fiber, but it was garbage. I didn't like it. I sold it. And then I had a Specialized Tarmac Elite. It was okay, but I didn't like it. Just was too plain. It wasn't flashy enough for me. So I sold that one. Right now I got a Cannondale Super 6 Evo. That's one of my favorite bikes. I really like the way it looks. It rides really nice as well. I used to have a Cannondale Cyclocross carbon fiber. I sold that one. And then I had Cannondale like aluminum road bikes, cyclocross. I sold those. I tried a Trek Madone, like an older version, carbon fiber. I didn't like it at all. I really didn't. Giant. My father used to have a Giant aluminum road bike. It was very heavy. I didn't like it. My father does own a Giant carbon fiber bike. I don't really like the way it looks, but it was very affordable. I think Giant is probably the most affordable, one of the most affordable brands out there that's not like a low-end brand. Like, it's a good brand, but it's just not at the level of Specialized, Trek, Cannondale, or BMC. But those are like the top 5 brands that I recommend. BMC, Cannondale, Specialized, Trek, Giant. I'm trying to think if there's any other brands out there that I would recommend. I don't think there is. Gary Fisher is an offset of Trek. It's like the cheaper version of Trek. So you don't want to really deal with that. And there's like other bikes that out there, like Lagger. You don't want to deal with that. I've seen some bikes out there called GMC. I don't recommend that either. Remember, all the bikes from Target and Walmart, all those brands, stay away from. The brands from Sports Authority, Dick's Sporting Goods, Sport Mart, stay away from those brands. And the stuff online, if you don't know the brand and you haven't test ride the bike, I would really be careful with ordering anything online. The only way that you should order a bike online is if you already tested the bike, you know exactly what you're ordering, then go ahead and order it. You've already tested it, you know what you want. But if you never tested the bike, you don't know the brand, I don't care how good the deal is, you should stay away from that. And then just also, just pay attention to the brands of the bikes that they're using in the Tour de France, and see what type of brands that they have, what they're riding. I mean, these are like some of the elite cyclists out there in the world. See what type of brands that they're riding. You'll see a lot of them have the BMC. You'll see Cannondale. You'll see Trek. You see Specialized. You see Giant. Some of them are might be rocking some unknown brands, but you got to understand that biking is big in the other countries, like in France or Switzerland or Germany. The biking community in America is not that big, so in order to find out what really is the high quality, you got to research those other countries, because even like the bike seats, like the brand name bike seat is called like Physique or something like that. Like people don't know about these brands, like Physique, Mavic, Zip. Like these are brands that people don't really, doesn't register in them until they really look into the bike world, and then they end up figuring out which ones are good and which are not. But those are the brands that I recommend that you should look into, and I always highly recommend for you to test ride the bike before you make any decisions.